Hello, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic for the second time today for June 20th, 2022. For at least 7 more minutes anyway, before it's midnight and then June 21st. Back once again for another episode. I am your host, Lance Brock, and just thought I'd do another episode again, talk about tonight's Monday Night RAW, and maybe get into a little bit of news after the RAW recap. But let's start off with Monday Night RAW. And Monday Night RAW was live from the University of Nebraska. The commentators tonight: Jimmy Smith, Byron Saxton, and Corey Graves. And first off, though, this isn't Raw related, but I want to make a correction. I made a big mistake on the episode I did earlier. Money in the Bank is not this Sunday, or not this Saturday, sorry about that, not this week. It's a week from this Saturday. Got a little excited there. I was thinking 2 big pay-per-views, Money in the Bank, Forbidden that same weekend. Got Blood and Guts coming up, and all these big shows coming up. I kind of got them all jumbled together. But hopefully you listened earlier to the Slammiversary recap. And once again, I made a mistake. Money in the Bank, 1 week from this Saturday. Okay, so Raw kicks off with an in-ring promo from Bianca Belair, and we find out that Rhea Ripley has not been medically cleared, and she will not be facing Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. And tonight we will have a fatal 5-way match: Becky Lynch, Asuka, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Alexa Bliss. And we have that match right after this, and it is Carmella winning the match and becoming the new #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. She will now face Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. And then Vince McMahon makes his way to the ring, talks about the Cena anniversary special thing next week for Cena's 20th anniversary on Raw Monday. Another big event, I guess you could call it a big event coming up in the world of pro wrestling. And then next up we have a promo from Riddle discussing the Universal Championship match from last Friday night on SmackDown, where he lost to Roman Reigns, and he mentioned Seth Rollins in it. More on that in just a little bit. And then we have a Money in the Bank qualifying match, Riddle taking on Omos. Omos, though, defeats Riddle in this one to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank match. Unfortunately for Riddle, did not qualify. And then after the match, Seth Rollins makes his way to the ring, attacks Riddle, cuts a promo, and Riddle tries to get back in to attack Rollins, but Rollins is able to get the curb stomp. And then we have Theory in the ring posing after last week's pose down. And then while that's going on, we see Lashley appear in the ring. Theory takes a selfie and he sees Lashley standing behind him. And then Lashley sprays the baby oil in the eyes of Theory and hits him with a spear. And Lashley will be participating in a gauntlet match. If he beats 3 superstars, he will get a United States Championship match at Money in the Bank. Next up, we have Jey Uso, one half of the undisputed tag team champions, the Usos, taking on one half of the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins, and Dawkins actually gets the, in my opinion, kind of an upset victory in this one. And next up is the Elias concert, and before the break we see them, Elias and Ezekiel talking backstage on a couch, and then we see Elias in the ring, and Kevin Owens comes out and says that video was edited or all that magic or whatever, and we see Ezekiel on the Titantron, and Owens takes one of the guitars, throws it out of the ring, breaks it, and then Elias breaks one of the guitars on the back and the head of Owens, and back we get an interview with Owens, and then he says that video of Ezekiel on the Titantron was recorded earlier in the day, and he challenges Elias or Ezekiel or Erod or something like that. He says their third brother if they have one. So that'll take place next week on Raw. And next up is the Gauntlet with Bobby Lashley, and his three opponents are, the first one anyway, Chad Gable, and he defeats him. And then next up, Otis, and Gable interferes, causing disqualification. And then the third opponent is the United States Champion Theory, which Lashley defeats Theory to get the win, get the title shot for Money in the Bank for the United States Championship. And Carmella attacks Bianca Belair in the back. And now it is time for Miz TV with the phenomenal AJ Styles. And Styles is attacked by Tommaso Ciampa, or just Ciampa now. And we have that match. Styles is victorious with a phenomenal forearm. And in the main event of tonight's Monday Night Raw, Asuka vs. Becky Lynch in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Asuka defeats Lynch to qualify for the women's Money in the Bank match. And so overall, not a bad episode of Raw. I'm gonna say it was real great or anything. But like I said, not bad match, or a bad show I should say. Decent anyway. And now to get into a little bit of news. And I said this earlier on the episode with the Slammiversary recap, but unfortunately the passings of Dave Hebner and Tim White, which there was an in memory of graphic for Tim White at the beginning of Raw. And also during Raw, WWE confirmed Edge is out with an injury and don't know when he'll be back. And I haven't had a chance to talk about this on the podcast yet, but Paige, or at least I don't think I have anyway, Paige announced that she's leaving WWE next month, and now she has been announced for an appearance at StarCast taking place SummerSlam weekend, which the main thing of that weekend, Ric Flair's final match, which I understand now has been moved to a bigger venue from the Nashville Fairgrounds. And Bryan Danielson will address Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts this Wednesday night on AEW Dynamite. So that'll definitely be interesting to see. Selfishly, I hope he is going to be on Eddie Kingston's team at Blood and Guts. since we'll be there here in Detroit at Little Caesars Arena. So hopefully he'll be a part of that team with Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley, Ortiz. I'm guessing Santana will also be on the team as well to take on the Jericho Appreciation Society. And WWE is making several changes to the Money in the Bank card taking place July 2nd. Once again, not this weekend. That mistake I made. And here's the lineup so far. As I mentioned during the recap, for the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair taking on Carmella. The SmackDown Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey taking on Natalya. The Women's Money in the Bank match. So far in it, Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Asuka. For the United States Championship, Austin Theory taking on Bobby Lashley. The tag team titles, the Usos taking on the Street Profits. The men's Money in the Bank match. So far we got Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Seth Rollins, and Omos. And of course this Sunday is AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door on pay-per-view. And now that is this Sunday, I know for sure. And hope to have a preview of that coming up this week. So stay tuned for that. And that's all for this episode 290 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you for tuning in to this episode, which is now Tuesday, June 20th. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything, you just want to say anything, whatever you want, 360 Wrestling Podcast at gmail.com. I'll put that in the description if I remember, hopefully. And if you want support, it doesn't have to be much, anything at all, but whatever you have, if you want to help out, anchor.fm/360-wrestling-podcast 360. I'll put that in the description as well, hopefully. If you want to help out, support, like I said, it'll be appreciated. Until next time, hope to have plenty more episodes up soon. I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.